Sweet. Looks like we are live. Let's go ahead and get this going. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the Narik Chase channel. Your boy Narik Chase, and we are. And when I say we, I mean me and MademB, or she's joining me again for another episode of the Streamline Podcast. And in this one, we are going to be making. This is basically a response to a comment that one of my. I don't know if it's a subscriber or not, but he left an interesting comment. I was talking about the Underworld television series ideas, so you have to check that video out. And he ended up leaving his idea in the comment section about Underworld television series. So we're gonna go ahead, just make a response video to it and read it out to you guys. Um, do you want to? It says. Hey man, great show. I love the idea for this show. This is how I would do it. I would start this off at the beginning, showing where the Lycans and Vamps got their powers, if you will, uh, which is the William and Marcus, how they became a vampire and a Lycan. I mean, a werewolf. And of course, William's a werewolf, which is different from a Lycan. A werewolf can't transform back. A Lycan can, and they can change at will.
So they didn't show that in the movies. They started out.
They never showed you like them two when they were kids or however they turned out, but they showed you the after effects of their transformation, and it's mostly because William, when he became a werewolf, he lost control, and the reason why Marcus spread his spread the vampirism was to kind of combat that. That's what it was established in the movies so far. But as far as them actually going back and giving us like the blah 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 what actually happened, that's what he was talking about. So I think that'd be an interesting idea. I think that'd be like one of those episodes would be kind of like a flashback, because if we're going to go back, if he's talking about just not only just how they got the powers, because technically Marcus William were already immortal because of their father. And they said one got bit by a bat, one got bit by a wolf. That's how they became a vampire and a werewolf. Now I don't understand how you get bit by a bat and you become a vampire like that. You think you'll kind of transform into like you'd be like a werewolf too, but you'll be a bat, kind of like a man bat. Yeah, you turn to something like man bat. But like it'd be an interesting idea. But I'd ask them. I'm asking them like, how far back would you go with this? Would you go back to them becoming like a werewolf or a bat, or when they got bit or whatever, or are you going further back, like when they were kids or something and they were immortal? I don't know about that, but that is a good idea on either front. So I'll give you that one. And it says, show the mayhem as these two different sides go crazy and create new Lycans and Vamps. We did see a bit of that. We did see a bit of that in Rise of the Lycans. But we didn't see it like we saw a bit of it in Evolution. We saw a bit of it in Rise of the Lycans, but we didn't see like an invasion of werewolves. You know what I mean? That sparked Marcus to try. You know what I mean? Do like a zombie film. William becomes a werewolf, spreads the virus. Show humans trying to combat that. Humans can't do it, so he then enlists the aid of other vampires, which he creates. Okay, I can go with that. Um, let's see. Then move to the formation of the clans and the fights between both sides. Then move on to how the rule of one was created and how the vamps began to hunt the Lycans and start to rule. Show the three rulers and start to bring in Selene slowly. So he's basically saying how all like the vampire society, and because in Underworld the vampire society is like they're like high society. Um, and in the vampire world there were three leaders. It was Amelia, it was Marcus, and there was Victor. And We never did see much of Amelia. She got done is almost as wrong as Michael. She was the vampire elder from the first movie that was on the train.
Okay.
That's like the only scene. And in Evolution, she was the female that was with them warriors when they were fighting the werewolves at the beginning of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Them like the only two significant scenes she had. She died in one movie. She fought some werewolves for like 2 minutes in another. That's it. And in fact, she didn't really fight. She shot one with an arrow, I think. I feel sorry for Amelia. Now that I think about it, she got done wrong. Michael got done wrong. Eve, Michael and Celine's daughter got done wrong. I'm like, God, dog, who's making up these rules? But okay, so we have that idea. The formation of the clans, I think that'd be something pretty cool too as well. Do you think it'd be cool to have them have like a bit of infighting with the vampires?
Like how so?
Like Victor is the ruler. Of course, somebody's gonna want to usurp his power, uh, be the top dog himself. That's what old dude tried to do in the first movie. The one that kept harassing Celine.
You talking about that for those who are supposed to be loyal to him?
Yeah, like Craven. That was the guy's name. Craven allied himself with the werewolves in the first, the Lycans with the first one, so he could try to become an elder, basically usurp everybody else's power. I think that'd actually be a good storyline to explore too.
I mean, you can do that, but try not to make it like any other, you know, ruler who, and then you have somebody who's jealous and want to remove him from whatever as the head or whatever. Make it different from the other ones if they're
I,
going to
I
do
don't know how I don't know how you're gonna do that. Because even Game of Thrones, as good as that show is, does the same premise, but they do it more. They do it a hell of a
that.
lot more.
Well, I'm sure you can make it a. I mean, is there going to be a TV show, or is just your thoughts?
It just thoughts. I think they did say that they were gonna go with a show. You're gonna need to look that up. Which I think what prompted me to talk about it. Or they were talking about rebooting it. Did I get that? Just a little bit of that cool J. Um, but yeah, okay. I want to see that because I want to see how Marcus and Victor actually interact. I want to see Amelia do something, and they're talking about how Celine gets introduced. I think that'd be a great way to talk about Victor's daughter and what's that guy's name? Okay,
What is this again? A wrestling? What is it?
reference. You got a link? Tell them where to go.
Oh,
Um, Lucian. We can talk about how Lucian and Victor's daughter, and actually get a fully fleshed out relationship between these two characters. Then how Celine gets brought into the fold because she didn't become a badass. This her accepting, her family loss and becoming a death dealer and stuff like. Okay, I could see that going. Uh, then show how Celine coming into her prime. What I just said. Over the centuries as she hunts across Europe. Show the vamps flaunt their power, and then the Lycans build theirs in private. I can go with that. Then move to the modern times where the governments of the world are aware, and there are treaties which are now governing all three sides. That would change up the story.
it's kind of like Queen of the Dam. You know how he wanted to be out there and out himself as a vampire and do all that stuff, and all the vampires just wanted to just go up, do theirs in private. And I think that's what made me think of that.
No, this part what he's saying on that part, you like in the third movie, I mean the fourth movie, Underworld Awakening, when she woke up and there was this purge, where the vampires were they killed all the vampires off. You killing me. You killing me.
I,
But in Underworld Awakening, she don't remember. In the movie, humans knew about vampires and werewolves. That's what they call it, the purge. They were trying to kill them all. What this guy was saying is, maybe after that purge, there was like during that purge period, there's a war between the species. But then after that war, they kind of did a truce, kind of like in that Crimson City. In the Crimson City, there was a war between werewolves, vampires, demons, and humans. But then the city's basically on a truce. Everybody's on the truce terms right now, even though there are factions trying to make that truce collapse. So I can kind of see that going there too. If they did have a series based on what he just said there too, because he did jump from the medieval times to the modern times to that, what we just discussed about the a treaty between the three. Do you think okay, it'll be all on like one season, or should that be a medieval season and then a modern day season, or should it be like Once Upon a Time, where it's modern day and then it's also medieval at the same time, like they're telling two stories?
If they can do it good enough, then yeah. Yeah, keep up though.
Yeah, that'd be like one of those shows like you got to sit down and watch it from point A to point B. I think that actually work out better, but you could potentially do a medieval version and then 100, 400 years later pick up nowadays. That gives you time to actually fully flesh out the world of the medieval time and then turn around and fully flesh out what's going on now.
If they do it right, they would.
Let's see. Show that the humans are the most dangerous just due to numbers. Yeah. Then I would join with the movies where they are on the boat, kill Michael off, but add a human to the scene. They did, but they took him off. Michael Ealy character, I liked him. I don't know why the hell they got rid of his character. He could be a human who saved Amelia on board that train. That's very hard. That's a very hard one to pull off, buddy. Then Amelia, Celine, Michael, and this human male head off to meet the first vampire on board the boat. But he wasn't a vampire. He was an immortal. Show the attack and kill Michael. As the vampire battle shows the death of the first vampire, but first show him inject his blood into the human, then head to a cavern and show an attempt at a peace treaty between both groups, mentored by the human faction. So he's still talking about killing Michael off, but at least if you're gonna kill him off right.
So after they killed Michael off, I forgot there was not another human added to the underworld.
The only human they ever had in Underworld really was I mean you can say Michael, but he was partially immortal. It just didn't awaken. Was Michael Ealy. He's the only significant human. But he's in this one. He is saying that the humans are more knowledgeable about him now. Like from where he wrote it is they've known about vampires and werewolves a long time, which is why the human was actually working with him. Oh, I can kind of see that. And he wants Amelia to be like she died on the first move on that train. On this one, she didn't die. What he's saying, which I would give you thumbs up for that because she got done worse than Michael. She got done a hell of a lot worse than Michael. Let's see. So what he seems like he's doing right now is it is going to be some politics because there's going to be peace treaties and stuff. See, in the movies, which I never liked, it was just straight up vampire versus Lycan, vampire versus Lycan, vampire versus like there was like no compromise. There wasn't a Lycan that was like okay, let's try to work out a peace treaty. Like, what if there was an Underworld, the next Underworld movie, that was a group of humans, vampires, and Lycans. They live together, they work together. That's something they never explored. It's always been either you're a Lycan or you're a vampire. That's it, no middleman. So I think I agree with him on that. Like in that would be good to see a balance between those three. Um, Having a human being injected with an immortal blood. That's an interesting concept as well. I imagine at this time the humans release and rings into the meeting for a little comic effect. Kill me with some of your writing, man. I appreciate you leaving a comment though. He tells everyone what happened and how he forgot due to shock and fear. Show the realization that he is now a carrier for both sides, a super weapon, if you will. Now both sides want to hunt him in order to control him. Now you have three sides hunting one guy. I imagine him as a young Major O'Neill from Stargate. The guy that Kurt Russell played in the movie? Oh, all right. That funny, stupid kind of guy. No, okay, never mind. I think, yeah, okay. The human part, let me try to get that right. Okay, he wants to introduce humans to the story, which should have been happened. The human, I don't know about the human saving Amelia. I can understand Celine and Michael coming across some human that'll help them, like they did in Underworld Awakening. Uh, okay, so what he's saying is, in the second movie when they were on the boat, and Marcus attacked his father because he stabbed him with the sword. That's when he supposedly killed Michael too. But Michael came back. He's saying instead of Celine getting the father's blood, the human companion would have got his blood and continued his pure immortal blood. I mean, he a human, so it's gonna get mixed. He gonna be a mortal human, but okay. So he's talking about adding. Yeah, he's really talking about adding a human aspect to it. Yeah, Amelia, I don't know about that one, man. I could say you could flesh her character out before she died on the train and just kill her off. That way, you at least see she did some stuff before she died. What do you think about it? Should a human be a significant character in this?
I think so. Because Michael was human before they did all that to him.
Yeah, I think so too. You know what I could have probably worked out just as good if Tobias from Underworld Awakening, the young vampire, and then he was in the last movie too. The dude that was with her.
Okay, yeah.
What if he was the human and he just tagged along with her? I think the movie probably would have came out better if he was human.
Well, he said uh, a carrier for both sides. Well, so they'll inject him with something, and would both sides want to like use him?
No, he threw me off because the way he wrote it. But he was talking about the father, the original immortal,
Mm.
injecting his blood into the guy. Now, if you have his blood, it could boost up either side. It'd be good for either side. And when he said carrier for both, I'm like, dude, the dad wasn't the original, wasn't a vampire or a werewolf. He was just an immortal. The sons are the ones that became a werewolf and a vampire. So you kind of threw me off on that one, man. Uh, but yeah, if the human did have that blood in him, he would be hunted. So that's a pretty interesting story too. Cause think about it. In the last Underworld movie, who's the bad guys hunting? They was hunting her daughter.
Who didn't do
Yeah, because her daughter would have been 50%. She'd have been like 40% vampire, like 20% immortal, like 20% werewolf, and like 10% human. she was the product of an immortal, a human immortal vampire, and a human vampire and a lichen. So she got the best of like four worlds.
that? Anybody didn't make no sense that They didn't do nothing.
It's writing. Whoever wrote it is a dumbass. Interesting ideas, but the execution, they they don't know how to write. They definitely don't know how to
Unless
write.
they would probably do it sometime later, and that'll be her standalone movie.
But okay, then, all right. So this human immortal, would that have any significance? Should that have a okay? If we have this human immortal on this side, should we introduce the daughter?
You can have both of them.
That'd be like what, like a third season?
Yeah, they'll be hunting both of them.
Okay, I guess I could rock with that. I guess I could rock with that. Okay, so it's actually what he came up with. Actually, was not a bad idea. The whole Amelia thing, again, like I said, it's nah kill her off, but at least let her do some awesome stuff before she gets killed off. Not just board a train and then get attacked by a bunch of werewolves and die. But I do agree with you with the whole how everything started. Victor and his daughter and Lucian, Celine doing her thing, how the vampire clans uh, did war against the wolves. I mean, the wolves and the Lycans, as well as became dominant, came to power. Them being in modern times as well. The humans learning of them, I don't think that should be like immediate. I think that should be like on iZombie, have that like that
Yep.
effect. Okay, and have it to where it's like okay, humans versus werewolves and Lycans, and then have like a treaty be brokered. Okay, I get with that, and I think it would be cool to have an interesting human character. I don't know necessarily about him being immortal. Maybe have him have some information or the potential of something, because if you make him immortal, it kind of negates him being human. And it's like okay, you just doing a like you got a whole cast of immortals. You got one human, then you turn him immortal. You know what I'm saying? That's like on Rosario plus vampire. This human guy is in a school full of demons and monsters and stuff, and then they had the nerve. And the point of the show was he was human, having to deal, trying to blend in with demons and vampires and boogaboos and all this stuff. But then they turned him to a vampire, which the whole idea of turning him to a vampire was stupid. But okay, but all right, Damien Byrne, that was actually a good comment. I appreciate you leaving us this comment because I did want to talk about this for a while now, and thank you for the opportunity to let us talk about that. And I hope you do leave more comments like this on other videos so we can address those as well. But is there anything else you want to add to this?
No.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for watching the video. In the comment section below, let us know your thoughts about Damien's ideas for Underworld television series, as well as our input. Do you think either one of us had a good point to throw a boot with? And also leave us some thoughts down there too, because we would like to sit here and do some more videos based on y'all feedback. Be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what's going on our channel. And be sure to hit us up on Thursdays because we do upload videos weekly. But we'll catch you guys later. Stay tuned.